Hi, this is Not Now Woodworking, and I'm Larry Schumer. Welcome to my shop. Recently I had a problem being able to change the speeds on my Jet JWL-1236 lathe. The problem was that the pulleys were stuck. So I called tech support and they gave me the confidence to handle this repair myself. So today we're going to get inside the lathe, see how to remove the belt, remove the pulleys, and clean the pulley shafts. Let's get going. The pulleys are in the housing, so the first thing we need to do is remove the housing. With the Phillips head screwdriver, there's 4 screws. There's one under here, 2 on the side, and 1 on top. So how this works, there's a lever on the other side of the lathe. When this bearing, there's a bearing inside there, when that bearing is moved with the lever this way, the belt pushes down on both pulleys and separates them, and that changes the speed by changing the ratio on the pulleys. The problem here, and I'm going to turn it on in a second, is that I can move this lever while it's running and the pulleys don't separate. Therefore, it's not changing speed. Let's turn it on. That's what we're going to fix. Okay, to fix the problem, you're going to need one of these. You pick it up at Harbor Freight for like $4. Snap ring pliers. If you have one, great. We need to remove the snap rings from each shaft, remove the pulleys, and then clean up the shafts and lubricate everything and make it so it slides. That's what we're going to do. First thing we need to do is remove the belt. To remove the belt, you need it on the slowest speed. See how the belt comes up toward the top of the pulley. And once that locks in, okay, now we're on the slowest speed. And now I will unplug the lathe. To remove the belt, you simply ease it off the edge. And you kind of don't want to pinch your fingers. When you want to get it off the edge. I didn't say it was easy. Maybe we'll try it from the bottom. No. There we go. Okay. While you're doing this, inspect your belt. Make sure it's in good shape in case you want to replace it. Now would be the time. Okay. Now we can move the lever back. And you can see how this gear moves a little bit. See, within that range, it slides pretty well. But it's the rest of it that's the problem. So, get it all apart and we'll figure out exactly what the problem is. Okay, so things are never easy as it appears. I'm going to loosen the set screw on the pulley to kind of take the pressure off of the snap ring. It's a 3mm hex. Now let's see if I can get this out. There we go. In fact, I even had to put my glasses on. Do not lose these suckers. Okay. Now we've got that loosened up. There's 2 of them. I should loosen up the other side. That's loose. Huh. That one was already loose. Okay, so what I had to do was pry a little bit with a screwdriver. There we go. There's lots of dirt in there. So that's the outside pulley. Now this is the one that's supposed to slide as you change speeds. So this is the one that's really the problem. Now there's a little spot where the set screw hits the key, and it's a little rough. I'm going to take a file to it because I think that's what's stopping this from coming off. It's right where the key is, unless I can get the key out. But let me get a file. This is just a real fine file. Feeling for burrs. Seems like it should come off. So on the bottom where the other hex screw was is also a little burr. File that down and it comes right off, and don't lose the key. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the key out. Okay, the next step is to loosen this nut, which holds this bearing on the shaft. The shaft is what moves that bearing back and forth. And then we can remove this mechanism. Okay, so this is a 10mm nut that holds that screw in place. Then I can do that by hand. Okay, just enough. Okay, and that's the bearing. I think this bearing is what's causing the noise in my lathe as well. In fact, right now it doesn't even turn. So we'll have to take a look at that. I'll have to replace this bearing most likely. Okay. Well, that seems to spin pretty nice. So those bearings are probably all right. You never know. You can see this? Okay, this is the spring-loaded pulley that operates when you manually change this one. This one, there's pressure to push these together to make the belt come near the tip. This is supposed to move like this, and this one's moving pretty good. So maybe I won't take this one apart. I did talk to support, and it's not a big deal taking that off. You can pinch the spring in with a vice grips or something to hold it in while you manipulate the gear. But this is working pretty well. Probably just spray some lube in there. You can see some sawdust falling out. Well, I could. I'm going to leave this one alone. I'm just going to clean up this shaft, lubricate it, put it back together, and see what happens. So I've got some gray synthetic steel wool here because I don't want to scratch the shaft. So So just kind of smoothing it off. Now when I called support, I think they said to use lithium grease on the shaft. Then I asked him about using dry lube, and he said, yeah, that'll work. But I don't think that worked. I don't think that's kept it lubricated. For the bearing itself, that shaft actually feels pretty smooth. There's no rough spots on there. I think it just needs some good lube. But the bearing is pretty frozen. I'm going to spray with WD-40. I don't have one, and I want to finish this process. So I'll see if I can free it up. I'll spray it with air. Oh, even that just froze it up. Now at least it turns. So I'll tell you, I'm not a machinist. I don't know what the best lube is for this. I'm going to spray a little WD-40 in there. Alright. Well, that's going really nice. I don't feel any movement. I don't know what a bad bearing is supposed to feel like either. I know this does make noise on occasion. So if the bearings are worn or the race is worn on the inside, I can't feel that, and I wouldn't know what I'm feeling anyway. So that's good enough for now. At least it works. I can order a new one and do that another time. But at least the process of taking it apart is the same if you want to use this video to get to the bearing. I assume the bearing comes out just by smacking it with something, and it'll come out of the housing, then you push the new one in. But again, this is not my expertise. Okay, so this is going to go in first. Make sure that screw is backed off enough. Okay. I'm flush on this side with the bearing housing. Putting the screw in, there's a slot there where it goes in. And again with the 10mm nut, tighten the nut that, with the 10mm wrench, tighten the nut, and that locks that in. Okay, seems to go pretty well. Okay, now we're going to decide what to lube the shaft with. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and spray some white lithium grease on here. Maybe. And kind of rub it on. Okay, stick the key in. This is the inside pulley. Make sure you do it the right way, like that. Line up the key. With the grease on there, it should go on fairly easy. If it doesn't, okay, that's nice. Okay. A little bit more on there. And a little on the inside here. line up the key. I believe that was flush with the end. I should have made note, but that's the way I'm going to do it. 3mm Allen wrench. Tighten up that side. Tighten up that side. Now the bearing needs to travel on the shaft of the pulley, not the actual shaft or the spindle. So this needs to come out. There we go. So now it's riding up against the pulley, and if the pulley is pushed apart, which now it seems stuck a little bit. Keep in mind this is cast aluminum. It's fairly fragile, so you could do some damage to it. That back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now this is how it works. When you move you can see the pulley move. I'm acting as if the belt's putting pressure on the pulleys to separate them. And when you go to a higher speed, it separates that and it changes the ratio. So that's how that works. So this collar with the bearing should always be right up against that pulley. And what happens is, if this gets stuck and you go to change speed, the collar moves that way on the spindle and comes off that shaft. And maybe that was part of the noise that I was hearing. Okay, so we want it in low speed, because now we're going to put the belt back on. That probably wouldn't hurt to have a little, I'm kicking the tripod there. Wouldn't hurt to have a little grease in there too. You want that to slide nice and easy, which is better now. I can get some on the shaft in here. Okay, so we're going to call that good. Well, I'm back. I wound up putting the belt on. I didn't mean to. I wanted to do it on camera, but I don't want to take it off again. What I wound up doing was separating the pulley and getting the belt all the way down, which gave me the most slack to go around here. Once I did that, I was able to pretty easily put it on the edge, turn that, and get it on, and it's pretty much lined up. So I'm not sure if that's in the wrong position or not. So I'm going to start it and see what happens. I'm going to plug it back in. And let's go. Running pretty quiet, and you can see how it works. It's lined up. I think it's in the right position. So as I move the handle and I move this collar toward the tailstock, it separates the pulley, the belt goes down, and that rides up. As I slow down the lathe, by pushing these pulleys together, it's causing the belt to come up toward the top, and this one goes further down because of the tightness. That's the slowest speed. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the speed. But I am thinking maybe that is a little bit too close to the housing. So what I'm going to do, I am going to take the belt off again. And I'm going to move that pulley a little bit further this way. Because it's just not perfectly aligned. I think it can go over a little bit more. Let's see what happens. All right, I got the belt off. That was pretty easy. And this, I should take off the snap ring. Oh, you know, I didn't put the snap ring back on here. That's a problem too. I need to do that. I don't want to take off the snap ring. Maybe I could loosen up the set screws. There's 2 of them, and just slide it. Oh, that one's already loose. Okay, so this is shooting in the dark here. This is really bad because I should know where that pulley is supposed to go, and I really don't. I'm about 3/8 of an inch away from the motor housing. Let me adjust this. So that's why this was not right, or why I didn't have it aligned properly. Move this a little bit so I can slide that down. Get the snap ring back in there after I clean out the channel. And then I can line the pulley up against the snap ring. That's how it was before. Okay, now I know it's in the right position. But that one, as far as where that pulley is supposed to go in relationship to the motor housing, that is troubling. Okay, put the belt back on. Now you can watch me do it. Separate the pulleys. Get the belt all the way in there. Okay. And now let's try it. Should have had the lathe unplugged, but it's making less noise. It's lined up pretty good. So I'm going to call it good. And if it's not lined up perfectly and the belt wears, replace the belt. So, after putting the housing on, I'm pretty much done. All right, so I'm going to just close it up and call it good. And hopefully you've got a little something out of this video. And I hope it's useful for you. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.